Morning?
Yes.
Wonderful. Good morning, people. It is Tuesday, the 20th of May. Welcome to TDA, the day after, your favourite news platform and the home of popular culture, as defined by the culture. I am one of your hosts for today, my own royalty.
And they call me E-Man, the pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst, melanin jam-packed.
And of course, Brent is here.
Good morning. How is everybody doing? Fine.
Yeah, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Thank God.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Right.
Honestly, silence is deafening. I thought you were going to say good morning to people or something.
I am going to say good morning to everybody in the chat. Good morning, everybody in the chat. I hope you all have a beautiful and prosperous and blessed day today. We shall see you later. Bye.
Peace.
Wait. All right, bye.
All right,
I think we could have done this over Zoom.
I think we have a comment that I'm not going to put into the dilemma section, so can we just read it out?
It's a paragraph. All right. This person says, person's age 26. I think it must to do with the thing. What are you going through this morning?
Can I have this thing on, please? My shoulder's still injured.
For what?
Oh, this is a long story.
Doing ungodly things.
Imagine.
What do you imagine happens?
I was training, thank you very much.
Training what?
Okay.
What happened?
When we left here together yesterday,
Okay.
we went somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it was so foreign to him that a whole set of things went wrong. One, he was walking like 5-10 paces behind me the entire time.
Why?
I wasn't even racing.
You don't run.
I don't.
Why were you walking so slow?
He walks very fast.
That'd be so annoying.
You know his strides are like, was like this, isn't it?
That, but it's like you keep up. I keep up.
Anyway, go, man.
Go a second thing.
Absolutely mental. Anyway, so we get to our destination.
Absolutely.
Right? And he's taking it in like, ooh, first time ever.
What do you mean? Ooh.
Oh, this guy.
Should have never been.
And that was the beginning.
Can you imagine?
Beginning. So I asked, how long have I got with you? Oh,
15 minutes.
About an hour. I got to go somewhere.
You still didn't put the thing on the screen.
You just came. You just arrived.
You gotta leave.
No, it's because you said what you said, and then you lingered a bit. You lingered a bit there.
I was like around the hour.
No. He's there telling me that I gave you one instruction. Can you put this on?
Can you imagine?
And so why you introducing this thing? It's because you lingered, right? And then you said, "Oh, I'm so tinny." She's like, why?" I said, "Oh." I'm thinking, wait a minute. Are we talking about this? Are you inviting me to introduce this to the world?
It's so funny because no one's ever had to invite you to do anything
ever in
that
life.
you've done. But we're here now. That I'm
No,
locked
but
in.
do you know what I've realised? Yeah, I thought he was just doing normal Brent stuff, innit?
Yeah.
But he's not. He's attached
This is real.
a falsehood to what he's talking about.
Let me be
Even
the judge
though
of
I've
that.
had an injury.
Let me be the
What are you
judge of it.
talking
'Cause
about?
I'm gonna say I saw you all last. I've been seeing you since I've been back, and you've never.
Has he had an injury?
You turn around.
What are
This is
you
a new
talking about?
injury.
No.
This sounds like a
Talk to
yesterday
me, talk to
injury.
me.
Remember I had
if
that
you-
thing on my arm? You forgetting?
You had a cast on.
Remember I had that thing?
I thought you said it was your shoulder that was.
So basically, all right. So basically, what happened was this is the real story.
I still want to hear Brent's thing. Sorry, but
No, but if
I'm locked in
because
now.
I thought you invited me. Because if it's not, now stop. I'll tell you afterwards.
This is
Okay,
a
can
fake
we-
thingy, man.
Okay,
I'll tell you
fair,
afterwards.
okay,
Yeah,
fair.
You
That's
still
what I
know.
care about.
You
As long as I
still
know.
know. Crazy. Go on.
Basically, I was doing pull-ups and that, innit?
okay.
You know I'm like the UK
I love how
champion.
Gina's shamed the entire nation to feel like you should be able to do pull-ups. But yeah, big up Gina.
When did you do this?
Everyone knows Gina's the queen of pull-ups, man.
Oh yeah, but I was the one teaching Gina and stuff, innit?
What?
That's 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up when she gets back. For sure, I'm a snitch on that.
But basically, I was doing I was pushing myself in it more
Yeah.
than the average person can because I'm on those sort of levels.
Absolutely,
and stuff, innit?
of
You know what I
course.
mean?
Shoulder pain and all, absolutely.
And so I developed what they call like golfer's elbow, innit?
Golfer's elbow.
Yeah. So basically, there's an injury basically in this sort of area, innit?
Yeah.
And so I had like a sort of support situation that I used to put on my arm. One time I had it on and the people said, "Oh, what the hell's that on?" He's like,
How many pull-ups did you do for the golfer's elbow to kick in?
We're talking about
Don't
between
lie.
50 and 60. You know what I mean? Like
50 and 60 pull-ups.
It's the Yoruba in me that's too strong. You know
Your
what I mean?
Nigerian men will lie with a straight face, yeah, and they won't even like they don't even. Not one heartbeat has gone out of place. That's crazy. 50 to 60.
Let's just focus on.
I'm gonna take the zeros out.
Impossible.
I'm gonna take the zeros out. Let's give him 5 to 6. Golfer's elbow from doing pull-ups.
Anyways, I was doing what I was doing in it. But I never treated the situation in it, so I just ignored it, sort of thing. And what happened was my shoulder started compensating.
Oh
So
yeah,
I got
okay.
injured
Shoulder's
here,
doing
and
so
then-
much work because your elbow couldn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So basically,
That makes
I
sense.
messed up
Not
my
your
shoulder
wrist,
too.
your shoulder.
No, that's what happens.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm also like a physiotherapist as well, innit? So yeah, I got so many belts.
Is he a physiotherapist?
Are you asking me? Your Yoruba co-host. You just introduced you.
The guys are
I
maybe-
identify as one then.
Lord, it identifies a lot of things. Okay, fair. Well, I'm glad that we're here. I hope your golfer's elbow and shoulder.
Well, to be fair, the elbow
Heals.
thing is kind of better now, but the shoulder's messed up. So I need to sort it out, man.
Yeah,
Need to do physio and that.
all the best with that. This comment is from someone who's age 26. I don't know if this is, I don't know what this is about. I do kind of say I don't know. I think it might be the dilemma, yes, one of the dilemmas yesterday, but we talk about girls, men trying to get girls so much in this show now, I don't know who's who anymore. So if this applies to you, all the best, love. So the person says, thanks guys for answering my dilemma. I didn't hear Brent's answer and I would like to hear what he thinks about me potentially breaking up with my girl. Oh, this is a lovely, successful guy with a lovely, successful girl. And he's moving, I think they were in Liverpool and he's moving somewhere at Brighton, I think it was. Oh, my memory comes back quickly. All right, so it says, just to clarify, I saw some of the live comments and I do want to address them. LOL, that's fine, babes. To Gin and Gist, I do have a beard. I'm Lebanese. Okay, sir. And it says, and to Christy, I'm not insecure about my past relationship. It's not that I'm scared about any cheating going on if we are long distance on either my side or her side. But like I said, lack of seeing you as often would just make me lose my feelings for you, to be honest. Just to pause there before I carry on. I don't think you really like the girl then. I think you just leave it then. How can distance, isn't it saying distance makes the heart grow fonder?
Yeah.
Making your heart more distance. I think, yeah, you're done. Then he goes on to say, there's only so much There's only so much I can FaceTime you. Hopefully you get. And lastly, let me just ask, do you think you should ever clarify to your partner before you could potentially break up with them if something conditional happens? Like if I'm hypothetically in a new relationship. Why is that your hypothetical? He says, if I'm hypothetically in a new relationship, should I ever tell my girlfriend that if we had to go long distance, oh, okay, I get it now. If we had to do long distance, we'd break up because I never told my girlfriend I just told her I couldn't handle a long distance relationship. She never asked if we were ever in one. Hopefully you get it. Take care. I do get it, to be fair, actually. I get what you mean. I thought you was about to say you have a new girlfriend, then how do you tell your ex-girlfriend? Or your soon-be ex-girlfriend? Personally, I think that if you're worried that distance will not make you like this woman more or make you miss her or if distance will make you like her less, will make the feelings disappear and stuff, then I think that you need to end it. And I don't think that was your life partner to begin with. Distance doesn't do that with people that you see yourself with for the future. So I think that you should just both part ways and just keep moving. Brent, he didn't hear your thoughts. He wants to hear them now.
So, I don't know. Remind me of the bloody dilemma.
So he's the guy who went to Liverpool for uni, met a girl there. She's got a great job. He's now got a job offer in Brighton, but he doesn't believe in long distance, and he also cannot tell her to. He doesn't want her to basically give up her career because she's doing amazingly well. So he was like, what should he do? Should he have a conversation with her about breaking up and blah, blah, blah? To which I said, if you really like her, you try the long distance. To which obviously he said that feelings are going to fade. And I also said that if not, then you're young. He's 26. Not in a cheeky way, but you'll be fine. If life wants you guys back together, believe me, you'll be back together.
Okay, so that's the guy who said that he's in love with his girlfriend. Everything's perfect about her, but this particular opportunity that she's gotten is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he wants to know if he should break up.
I think the man wants to break
Straight
up,
away.
man.
Yeah, I don't
does.
understand that bit. You try this new until your feelings change. I don't know what preempting
That breakup is
that breakup means if you're in love with the person.
But you know, like the reason why I say that he should just break up with her now, is because people who
I'm questioning his love.
Yes, I'm questioning his love as well.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people who they for whatever reason they have to be long distance now. But their fear is that I don't want this distance to impact what we have going on. Not in a way the feelings are going to fade. They're aware that I'm going to love you. I want to love you forever. But it's like I just don't want it to put too much strain on our relationship where we start to like argue or we start to this. It creates that kind of fiction.
Let that time
but this
come.
man, but do you mean? But they still go with it and do whatever they can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Live it first.
This man is saying, I know I'm not going to like this girl.
That's I don't understand that.
So
the
answer's there, babes.
Yeah, I don't understand that. If your mind is already there,
Single,
then you're not loving her like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's my thing. You're not in love with this woman.
But also to his hypothetical question about should you tell someone, by the way, if we ever have to go long distance, I can't do it. I think you already did that. You already did that when you told her that you don't believe in long distance relationships. So I don't think it has to be a thing that you have to necessarily say, but I think you'd be fine, man. I think just move on and just look to your new future and your new job and stuff, and that'd be exciting, and let the girl also move on.
There you go.
That'll do it. There's some
Yes,
numbered things.
there are some things that we need to check out. Basically, you know what, let's start with number 2, Brent.
What's that? Oh.
There's a clip. Well, it's not a clip really. It's just a shout out of Black excellence.
I saw on Discord Verbal Kint.
Yes, big up Verbal Kint.
Is that his name, Verbal Kint?
Yes, it is.
He basically asked how come you didn't shout out
I didn't know
Gerald
about it,
and Flex and them man's new thing.
I need to check it out.
Who's Gerald?
This is it. So Emmanuel doesn't know them people, right? So he's not going to hear about that information. I only heard about the information because Tully told me. I would never have known. About 100% wavy.
Sick.
Wavy. And all you should go and check it out.
It's called Omni, right?
Yeah.
So y'all still not telling me what
Yeah,
it is?
you ain't telling nothing, bro.
What is it, a snack? Is it a company?
It's a venue.
Yes.
And it has different things happening in the venue.
That's nice.
I said it vaguely as that.
Oh, is it
because I can't
Gerald?
remember.
Taser's Gerald.
Taser's Gerald.
Oh, okay, I know.
Yes.
Nice, congratulations, that's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And it's Flex, Gerald, and
Somebody else. Why?
Gabriel, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the name. That's sort of there.
When people, it's okay to like. So, what did the person do in the Discord? Did they say, "Why didn't you do it?" Or did they say, "Oh, here, you can do this"?
He's wondering how come Emmanuel didn't shout them out
because
it's all about ownership and that's the kind of stuff that we champion.
Yeah, but
Then
like,
plug it immediately.
No, but that's a little passive aggressive, don't you think?
I read it like that. That's why I'm doing it this way.
Yeah, like it's so you could just suggest things and say, "Oh my gosh, Emmanuel, here's
Yeah,
this."
because Emmanuel's not supposed to know them like that. Like,
how much do we want these people today to know?
Are they from Hackney? Are they from Pembrey Estate? Is that why Verbal Kid
Brent,
basically
even if they are Pembrey, even if they were right next to his mother's house, his mother's not gonna know everything that's going on.
Put everybody on.
Bloody hell, mate! Help people to help people. Damn.
Yeah, put people on. Put people on.
And lucky is Black excellence in this room. I would have been petty. Now I'm not shouting out Black excellence. Big up them though. That's really sick.
Yeah, it is.
But yes, we have our sister on the screen, and this is somebody who is exhibiting Black excellence. This is the youngest mayor in the country, I believe. Young Black woman who is the mayor of Barking and Dagenham.
That's lit.
Barking and Dagenham. Let me get up quickly. So I want to give her a name.
That's lit, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mayor Princess Bright. And yeah, man, she's been. If you go to her Instagram, which is Lady Prixo, Prixo, you basically you're gonna see her journey and stuff, right? And yeah, she's just 29 years old. She decided to take a year out of her corporate career to give back to the borough that raised her. So she's not just a councillor. She's moved on from that, and now she's the mayor. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. If you go to her page and stuff, you're gonna see about.
Black
I was
love.
about to say, keep on that. You know, I love me some love. Okay. Oh, I love that. That's so sweet.
Sensational.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, you can see all the everything about her,
Well,
what she's
wholesome.
doing, man. She's doing amazing things, man.
Awesome, babe.
You know what I'm saying? So big up her.
Big
So
up
yeah,
her
just
girl.
wanted to make you guys aware of that.
Oh, it's a lovely ring.
Next thing is, if you go to number 1, remember our sister that came into the show, African Chica?
Absolutely. That end of the slasher.
No, it looks more.
This guy.
It's fantastic.
What a pretty mayor. That's
Let's
so
get her on
lit,
the
man.
show. Let's get her on the show.
Yes, we shall endeavor to do
That'll
so.
be lit.
All right.
Yes, and like I was saying,
African Chica.
African Chica doing amazing thing. Remember, she left Box Park and
I
Shoreditch to
do
go
remember.
to Croydon.
Yes.
Well, she's back. She's back in
Box Park?
Shoreditch.
She's
In
been
Shoreditch.
back, man.
Yeah, but I didn't know, Brent.
Again.
You know what I'm saying? Brent don't be telling us. God damn it.
That was
Brent,
what
you
I
knew.
was going to say. Hey,
Excuse me.
I wasn't going to say that. That was where I was giving that.
She even invited all of us to her
She did.
event.
She absolutely did.
And I
Shoreditch?
went.
She did.
I went.
Ben went.
Because it's just around the corner.
Where was
from
that?
where I
Do you
was.
remember to go as well?
No.
Okay, no, he didn't. Okay.
So where was
Just
that?
around the corner.
Well, one
Maybe I
does
wasn't
ask
about.
that question sometimes.
Maybe
You
I
were
wasn't
getting
about.
shoulders elbow.
And that's where
Was it? Golfer's elbow.
That's where she found that we were neighbors.
Yeah. Well, she was basically saying to me, "Oh, that Brent came here." innit? So I was
Yes.
like, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying." But yeah, I was obviously around the area. Obviously, after I seen you in it, Brent. Remember, I went around the corner in it to get some, ice cream and that, and then go home. And that's when I bumped into her. And then, yeah, she was like, she's back here, all that sort of stuff. Long story short, she's got an event, right?
Okay.
Father's Day pop-up, guys.
Oh, that's lovely.
Box Park, Shoreditch, Sunday the 15th of June from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be upstairs. You know the main part of Box Park in Shoreditch.
Oh, yes.
She's got her thing going on up there. And yeah, I'll just read out some of it. So it's basically step into a celebration of heritage, style, and legacy. This Father's Day, join us at Box Park, Shoreditch for a one-of-a-kind pop-up honouring the fathers, mentors, and kings who lead with love and power. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be 10 plus black-owned brands bringing the best in bold fashion, soulful stationery, and curated homeware, all fused with culture and creativity. Live music and DJs will set the vibe as you shop, connect, and celebrate. From handcrafted gifts to cultural gems, find something meaningful for the men who matter most.
All right,
it's going to be
black men.
DJs, guys. It's going to be, all sorts, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. So if you guys can make it, be there, man. Father's Day, Sunday, 15th of June, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Let's go and support our sister, man. Plus, again, even if you can't make this event, go to the shop. It's amazing. Like, so many good things in there, man. And she's got art now as well, innit? I don't think the first time when she was there, she was selling art, innit? I could be wrong. But now if you look at the art on the wall, beautiful, beautiful. So again, you can patronize and make your beautiful homes even more beautiful. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the last thing really that I wanted to do, it's not related to any of the first two. It's basically Gary Lineker, man. I just wanted to play the apology for you guys, innit? And see what they made Gary do. Gaza. No, not Gazi. Gaza. Gal do. Brent, that's the third one, please.
I shared a post here on Instagram. Some personal news. Last week I shared a post here on Instagram that contained an emoji that has awful connotations. Unfortunately, I did not see the emoji. If I had, I would never ever have shared it. The minute I was made aware, I quickly deleted the post and went on to make an apology. I would like once again to say I'm sorry unreservedly for the hurt and upset caused. It was a genuine mistake and oversight, but I should have been more diligent. I know that. I've stood up for minorities and humanitarian issues and against all forms of racism all of my life, including, of course, anti-Semitism, which I absolutely abhor. There's no place for it and never should be. So I think it's best for all concerned that I step down from BBC presenting duties altogether and not do next season's FA Cup or World Cup. The final day of the Premier League season on Sunday will be my last show. It's been a pleasure and a huge privilege working with the BBC for 30 years, especially hosting Match of the Day, a programme that is so close to my heart and an integral part of my life. I'd like to thank all of the quite brilliant, talented and lovely people, both in front and behind the camera, that I've worked alongside for 3 decades. You're an absolute best. The relationship with the BBC has been long and wonderful, but it's the right time for the organisation and myself to go our separate ways. Thank you also to all of you for your incredible support and love over so many years. It means the world to me. I'll see you all on Sunday. Hi everyone,
Well, I just want to play the clip for you guys. And to me, it's a goddamn shame. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
To be fair though, if you didn't want to quit, you didn't have to, man.
No, but they're forcing him. They're putting
How do
pressure
people
on the
force
BBC.
me to quit?
These organisations, they got people.
Y'all
in
could never force me to
places.
quit.
Yeah, because they ain't got no jurisdiction here.
No, I'm
Tell-
saying
we'll
y'all.
tell-
I think
us
y'all.
people.
Brent, Steven,
Impossible.
me, Emmanuel, and whoever else y'all bring
But we
on
would
board.
never want that anyway. You know
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
just
saying?
think, let's just see. You can't force me to quit.
True indeed.
If you force me to quit, I won't stay silent. Can I tell you that for free?
Wait, so you'd sing?
I'm from the highest building. How can you force me to quit?
I wonder what it is that you'd say.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, what would you reach for first?
Oh. Y'all should have been there.
Crazy, because she has a lot of information in her head.
All the information.
And a Yoruba woman scorned.
You know what it is, yeah? You know, I don't know if anyone remembers what's the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Nope.
When what's her name? What was that woman's name? Monique. She came to one of the reunions. They had done her dirty that season. You know what she came with? A binder. A binder that was color coded on the sides.
Oh man.
You just had to throw a name at her. Giselle. She's like, 1 second, Giselle's the yellow, flips over the page. Nah, because how do you make people, how do you force someone to quit? I guess to be fair though, that's what they made Kevin Hart do that time. They gave him the option, either he can quit or he could, to be fair, his was silly though. He could apologize or he could quit.
Yeah. And
He chose to quit.
Yeah, his one's better though, to be fair. Because he didn't capitulate. He didn't allow them to.
Well, it's funny though because he quit, then he ended up apologizing anyway.
Ah, god damn it.
Because he understood. Because at the time he was trying to be difficult and be like, "Well, I've apologized many times, blah blah blah." But then he came to realize that actually, I continue to work hard to grow my to grow basically in the industry. And as I grow in the industry, I'm having new fans, and my new fans are not aware of the apologies I gave back then or whatever the case is. So he was like, yeah, people have a right to be offended, but it's not the old people being offended, it's new people being offended and whatever else. That's how they get you. That's how they get you to force you to quit. That kind of attitude.
Then new people shouldn't have known about his old joke either then. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you know the old people gonna tell you, the old haters.
Then they need
But
to tell you about the old apology.
I guess with Gary though, they probably would have said, if you don't quit, then we'll fire you. And that's worse.
Yeah.
But then, to be fair, I would just think what makes me keep my shares and my and pension and stuff like that. You gotta be smart about these things. Because that means you guys firing me. Absolutely, I'll carry my brown box out of the new black building. Fine. But make sure them checks stay rolling in though. But yeah, I guess he must have wanted to quit himself anyway. Wasn't it a thing people were saying that he was gonna leave anyway?
Yeah, his contract was done.
Well, then.
No, but he was coming back for the
World
World
Cup.
Cup and something else.
Where's the World Cup next year? Isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think
Is it like January or something like
Is
that?
it next year or 2 years? I can't remember.
It's next year. I remember why it's next year.
Okay. But but yeah, so, but it's to me it's just sad. Innit? Obviously, this is respectfully them people's business, innit? I concern myself with black people's business, but it's wrong. I think anyway, because I like Gary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he's been doing a lot of things for sport in the world. You know what I'm saying? And to him, I believe it was a genuine mistake in it. That's just my personal.
Then
fair
what's
though,
wrong with his apology if it is that he sincerely didn't mean that, and he is basically saying, "Oh my crap, I wanted to say that." Right? Because he didn't apologize for...
He didn't apologize for supporting Palestine.
Content, but he apologized for the thing. So
he apologized for the emoji.
What's wrong with him apologizing if it is that? That's what...
There's nothing wrong with the apology. It's the fact that he's quit. And I believe, anyway, he's quit because they forced the BBC to force him to quit. That's the issue. If you're wrong, you can apologize. I don't think there's anything wrong with apologizing. He made a mistake. I didn't see it on screen. It's offended you. I'm sorry. That's not my intention. But trust and believe Zionism is real, and I hate Zionists. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic with this rat. You know what I'm saying? And
Well,
I'm
who did you
sorry
offend?
for
The
that.
Zionists, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but they're trying to find issues. They don't want nobody, especially a public figure like Gary Lineker, to be talking about the atrocities back in Israel.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, we're talking about how they've now given people in Gaza food after 10-week blockade.
It's mad. To be fair, though, what I did like though was how he said he never apologized for the message. He apologized that he never noticed the emoji that was in there.
Exactly.
Because he didn't know what he meant. And I think that, personally, I think sometimes you just got to take the high road. Actually, maybe I wouldn't snitch then, actually. You just got to take the high road and, leave on a high. And I think he's done that because whatever the case is, he's still very well respected.
100%.
But also, the people expecting great morals from BBC is laughable at best, to be fair.
But to be fair to
it's just because
BBC,
he's white that we're acting this shocked because,
they normally don't get them out of there, innit?
Yeah.
But-
if it was a black person, they would have been out of there before you can even say flipping. What was that annoying guy that kept speaking for black women, even though black women said they didn't want him to speak for them? That annoying guy. He's from Birmingham or something. During the Clubhouse days, he insisted on speaking for. He's got a name that's like a side piece or something.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Side piece.
Sideman. Is it Sideman?
You're crazy.
Well,
Side
I think it's Sideman.
I just remember side
I
piece
think
in
it
my
is
heart.
side man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
something like
Sideman.
Sideman.
Yeah. Zizi's,
And he had a show with Zizi.
Yeah, I remember. Annoying guy. But someone like with him, remember with the whole, I can't remember when someone said the N-word on BBC or something like that. And he took a stand and said that, a stance and said that basically he would not be, I don't remember them. I mean, kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
But then it pissed me off everything else after that. But, I don't remember them begging him not to go. I'm sure he did leave after that.
Yeah, they didn't give a damn.
They didn't care.
But he ain't spent 30 years at the BBC.
It don't matter how, even if you spend 3 months, like, morals should be morals. And if you're going to stand for something, then you stand for whatever it is that you're claiming you stand for. But I think with Gary, went out well because any little thing he does now, sometimes he doesn't need the stress.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, pretty much like you guys are saying, man, big up Gary, man, because he didn't capitulate, innit? But it's clear that he's stepped down because he doesn't want it to be a situation where the BBC is forced to sack him because he knows they've got the BBC over a barrel. You know what I'm saying?
I know about that. That's your
British Broadcasting Corporation, meant to represent the whole damn country, and yet they're forced into a corner to sack the highest paid guy in the BBC.
Oh, he's a cost of living over there as well. They could do with the checks.
Well, anyway,
But yeah, pick up Gary anyway.
nobody's safe.
Well, we're not at the BBC, thankfully.
You know
Said
what I'm
nobody's safe,
No, because they got Corbyn out in the
To be honest,
same
only
way.
because he's a white man. That's the honest truth here. I don't think if it was a black person, like obviously I get that Gary Lineker is very loved and whatever, but I think the real people's shock really is because you never expect this with a white man. But unfortunately, we expect it with people of color. So the main outrage is because it's that. Like, not that I'm not saying that my empathy is capped or whatever, but I just think, well, sometimes you have around to find out. Because someone like Gary anyway should have someone who looks over his social media. I don't expect him. I mean, fair enough, he might have the account to be sending memes to Ian Wright and whatnot, but people like that, when you're on that kind of platform, they tell you they have to screen the kind of things that you post in your stories and whatever else. So, and maybe he was set up by that damn right emoji, but then he decided to take the fall for him.
Yeah.
Better man than I am. I'm stitching on my assistant. But,
But the sister might have been the one who alerted him to, take it down.
This is why they tell you not to post yourself. They did the same thing to Wendy Williams when she would post herself. They have to take it down. That's what happens with celebrities. They're not meant to be posting on their stories like anyhow like that. But it is commendable that obviously he spoke for Palestine, absolutely. But I don't think he's as worried as the rest of us are, is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't think I think he's happy to bow out.
Yeah, he's cool, man.
I think the World Cup thing would have been nice to have him on, but I don't think he's as stressed about it as we are.
Yeah.
So I don't really...
I hear you.
My empathy is capped at this point.
I hear you.
Not capped, but
I get what you're
I've run
saying.
out.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's his name? Blackwell makes a good point, though, just to wrap up, about Hugh Edwards. Remember how BBC...
who's Hugh Edwards again?
The guy with the trigger warning.
The paedophile.
Yeah. The one who announced the Queen...
that very famous... Yeah, him.
This guy.
What about him?
Nobody was forcing them really like that to expose him and all that sort of... Well, they tried for the longest time.
So I didn't get a correlation.
Basically just trying to say that they were protecting Hugh Edwards. And that was a heinous crime.
Yeah.
But for this now...
They protected Philip Schofield.
There you go. Right there.
Had him showing paparazzi pictures on a walk with his mum. Mum should have slapped him upside the head, let the cameras catch that.
He's still free.
Yeah, and he's got a show. Trying to get him back into mainstream media and whatnot. But I think I reckon with Gary, I think if Gary pushed it, I reckon if he pushed it, they probably would have he probably would have ended up staying. But I don't think the man. I just don't. He doesn't give me that vibe of I care. I don't know the man. I don't have brunch with him, but I just give him the vibe of.
You think so?
Because his contract was done anyway. World Cup was, and it's just like if I can, he looks like someone who values rest. He does. So
anyway, yeah.
Love and light anyway. But BBC has never been the ones for great morals. Any British media has never been the one for. I told you they snitched on Chris Brown. Happy they did, but still.
That was funny, man.
That's the funniest thing.
No,
it's funny. It's hilarious. It's flipping hilarious. Like, how can you, because you want an exclusive story, snitch? So then you get to be the one who broke the story. It's crazy work.
Diabolical.
He's got a month in there anyway. He'll be fine. Doing backflips and entertaining the guards and whatnot. Okay, should we get into headlines? Is that it? Sorry.
Yes.
Let's get into headlines. And then someone was like, can Beyonce do this? And someone said if she was on crack, she could. The internet is funny, man.
All right, people. So our first headline. Your Prime Minister is in the news, of course. Sir Keir Starmer has said it is time to move on from political fights about Brexit, as the UK and the European Union agreed to a major reset of relations. The UK and the EU have struck a deal that covers fishing, trade, defence, energy and strengthening ties in a number of policy areas still up for negotiation. A key part of the deal involves giving European fishing boats a further 12 years of access to British waters in exchange for easing some trade frictions. It marks the biggest reboot since the UK officially left the EU in 2020 and comes after years of disagreements over Brexit. The Tories and Reform UK have described the deal as a surrender to the EU, while the Lib Dems said that the government have taken some positive first steps to rebuilding ties with Europe. Next headline, and the House of Lords has dealt a second defeat to the government over its data use and access bill. Peers had already backed an amendment calling for more copyright protections for the creative industries from artificial intelligence, AI, scrappers once, right? Spoke about this, I think, a few weeks back. MPs rejected that amendment and sent the bill back to the Lords, where Technology Minister Baroness Jones told peers it would lead to piecemeal legislation as it preempted consultation, AI and copyright. However, there was a broad and vociferous support for Baroness Kidron, who's a film director and digital rights campaigner, who accused ministers of being swayed by the whisperings of Silicon Valley, asking them to redefine theft. Kidron's amendment would force AI companies to disclose what material they were using to develop their programs and demand that they get permission from copyright holders before they use any of their work. I don't even know why this is something that they're debating. If AI is getting it from somebody, pay them. Ask permission and pay. Simple. Can't just be taking people's stuff. Next headline, and Sir Keir Starmer has refused to say whether Israel is committing genocide in Gaza following warnings from a top UN official. Tom Fletcher, who's the head of the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, warned the Bodies Security Council last week that it must act now to prevent genocide, a claim that Israel has vehemently denied. He also accused Israel of deliberately and unashamedly imposing inhumane conditions on Palestinians by blocking aid from entering Gaza more than 10 weeks ago. Asked by Sky News political editor Beth Rigby whether he believed the genocide was taking place in Gaza, Sir Keir Starmer did not directly answer. Instead, the Prime Minister said there was a really serious, unacceptable, intolerable situation unfolding in the territory. Under the Genocide Convention, genocide refers to acts committed with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or a religious group. And that's it for our headlines.
Let's get into what you're saying.
All right, people. So let me say trigger warning on this particular topic here. Trigger warning. This was initially sent to me by Irene. Big up Irene. She listened to the show. She's always listening live. She's at work, so hopefully she should be listening to this right now. I tried to get her to call up, but she prefers to throw the stone and hide a hand and cause some trouble. But anyway, I'm joking. Big up Irene. And this is basically, it stems from a clip that was part of a Cam Newton interview, and that's the first clip I want Brent to play. So Brent, while you're getting that ready, I'll just keep talking basically. And basically, it's just one guy basically saying he believes some men, straight heterosexual men, those who stay ahead of the sexuals, right, don't like women. They just like women for particular purposes, but don't actually like women. This is what he's saying.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
I've been preaching this.
Well, he's
literally retweeted something about this yesterday.
There you go.
Duh.
So yes, this is not an attempt to spark no gender wars. We don't need that in our community.
I don't care what the hell it is. It's facts. That's what it is.
But it's just something to analyze and see. So
think about.
Exactly.
Heterosexual men don't like women for real. They don't. They like women sexually, but they don't like women. They're not attracted to what a woman is outside of her sexual organs. So then when we get into why a lot of men womanize, or why it's just they're minimizing a woman based off of who she slept with or who she potentially can sleep for, because it's like you haven't gained the appreciation of the wholeness of a woman yet, and what that wholeness of a woman can bring to your life. A lot of times we'll talk about strength and we'll say men are stronger than women, but that's because we value physical strength. We're not talking about emotional strength, spiritual strength. We're not talking about the type of strength that can run a household. And we're not putting that same type of weight. And what I would encourage, and this was the shift that I had to do, is I had to start liking the wholeness of a woman outside of sex. And then when you do that, now you appreciate the things a complete woman can bring to your life. When we talk about the Bible talks about finding a capable wife, right? That capable wife, that person that if you was to stumble, can pick up the ball and start running. And there's a lot of men that have just a wife because they was only concerned about what she can do in the bed. And so what I'm just encouraging men to do is just like, and it's for our own benefit, because a lot of us, especially men with some type of means, we end up finding a dependent, not a partner. Yeah, she can fuck us good, but if you was able to stumble, bro, what the fuck is gonna happen with your family? And so I just encourage men to be, I'm not gonna say more, because that's unrealistic to a lot of men, but as attracted to what she brings as a feminine energy to your life outside of just what you're doing in between. Check this out. A lot of heterosexual men don't like women for real.
Cool.
Should have played it again, played it a third time, like Dr. Umar talks.
You know what? What's your take, Esther?
I agree. Like, and I think for me, it's always in the subtle things and in the subtle ways that men speak about women, and the things they attribute, like the value or the usefulness they attribute to women. Because it's very men are very quick to say, it's not all men. It's a lot of y'all. It's most, but it's not all. So it doesn't apply to you. Don't get your little boxes in a bunch. And I'm on smoke. I could be on smoke this morning. I'd rather not, but I can be. So everyone let the spirit guide them. But it's what was I going to say before that? Before I had to give a disclaimer, because I know how these people go. But yeah, I agree with it. I think that even when that's it. When people speak up, when men speak about strength, and they want to speak about, men are logical, women are just emotional. But like he said, a lot of women run the home. A lot of women are the ones who are sorting out the finances of the home. Okay, we've got to do this, we've got to do this. When you think about what it is that women actually balance, like there are women who have careers who are still the ones who take care of the home. They're the ones who make sure that everyone is where they're meant to be at the time they're meant to be, wearing what they're meant to be wearing at the time they're meant to be wearing, making sure they're eating what they're meant to be eating at the time. Like, they're the ones doing all of that stuff whilst they're working whilst they're still working, by the way, whilst they've got goals and dreams or whatever it is, while they're supporting their partner and doing all these things. It's in the language that the way women are spoken about. There's a reason why people are always cussing single mothers. But when you think about what it is a single mother has to do, there's a reason why there's not as many single fathers as there is single mothers. And then in situations where the child is then left with the father, first of all, you see the woman get insulted because, how could you give up on your child? How could the father give up on his child? That's also his seed, no? But you never get that. It's always the woman that's insulted. Then when the child turns out well, it's like, okay, you can get some props. If the child doesn't turn out well, it's always, but that's why they need a father. all these things always insult women and just essentially bash women. However, there's never any accountability for the fact that men should show up for their children. There's more conversations insulting single mothers than there is insulting single fathers. And then when women come and tell you that they've been essayed or this has happened or this has happened, so it's, oh yeah, but you probably want the money. Oh yeah, but you're probably lying. Oh yeah. I tweeted yesterday, yeah, my theory, a lot of men cannot see what abuse is, whether sexually, whatever way abuse is, because they themselves, to acknowledge that it is something is abuse, what another man has done to a woman is abuse, means that they will be calling themselves abusers too. And that's not a truth they're ready to face. That's the reality of it. So absolutely, like when you think of the things that women deal with in the world, that's why I'm very big on you have to pick a partner, because I cannot be dealing with the foolishness in the world and then I come home to then rinse and repeat. What a damn lie. Even when people talk about, what's it called? I remember I had an argument with Marks about it. And when we talked about pregnancy and how, like, it's a life-threatening thing. Yes, I understand that the way God ordained it is that women are the only ones who can give birth. I understand that. Fair enough. That doesn't take away from what the reality looks like. Not many people are successful on the first few tries of being pregnant. People don't talk about what that looks like. People don't talk about what pregnancy itself is, having to sacrifice your body, the strength it takes. Like, you're literally a human being forming or growing another human being inside of them. And then when you go through labor, you go through all of that stuff. And then the way your hormones are, and they fluctuate in whatever the case is. Mind you, your hormones have been fluctuating from before you started puberty, from about 10 years old, by the way. And then you go through pregnancy, you go through all of that stuff as well. And then what the labor is like, what getting a C-section, and then the healing afterwards, all that kind of stuff. The fact that women die, it is literally a life-threatening thing. And it's ignored. And then the cramps that women deal with every month and the different body things that women deal with every month. When I've seen those, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those videos where they basically put either labor pain or cramp machines on men. And they put that around their belly.
I've heard about them, yeah.
Level 1, these guys are weak in the knees. Level 1. And then they'll put on a woman and it will be on the highest level and she'll be like, oh, this level is as bad as my actual cramps are. And then you sit there and say that women are emotional, they're not logical, they're the weaker sex. Absolutely not. And if people are going to say that they believe these things because of religion, that's a lie. God does not want you to make women, to say that women are not good for anything other than to produce children for you. God valued women. God values women. There are women leaders in the Bible. There are women who literally saved nations. Jesus is from the lineage of a woman, of Rahab. And she was a prostitute, and people obviously, I'm never going to get into the whole sex shaming that happens today. I retweet on that guy. I don't often support men, but that's a man that I can get behind. Actually, well, sometimes can't get too comfortable with men now. But on that one topic that he was talking about, absolutely. I don't feel women are not respected enough. And again, it is in the subtle language. It's in the subtle things. Like, a guy doesn't have to call you a B word for me to know that God doesn't respect women. I just see how it is that he talks about women. For one, out here in at your big age, calling someone a female. Got an IQ of a bread. Got an IQ of a slice of bread. Anyway.
Do you think we're all victims of societal norms? And this isn't necessarily just an inbuilt, innate thing that men go through. In the same way you sometimes say, oh, women are basically raised to be X, Y, Z. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they've been socialized to be that.
Exactly. Do you feel like that's also the reason why some of us have the perception of women that we have?
I believe so,
as opposed to how we are. You know what I'm saying? We're also victims, basically. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that, but I think that just because that's the case doesn't mean that you can't be a better person. I saw a tweet yesterday and someone was saying that the people that have the best men are women who are very strict. Like, basically women who are aware of like misogyny and like essentially like feminists, basically. And a girl responded and said, not exactly. Because essentially as a feminist or as a woman who understands how society is against a woman, you just learn how to basically navigate and deal with it. I can't remember what conversation we were having last week when Brent asked me when I was ranting about, you know, the world that unfortunately women live in. And he was like, okay, yeah, so what's the solution? And I told him it's not like, I can't solve misogyny in the world. I can't solve patriarchy. However, what I can do is focus on what's the kind of men that I interact with, and that's what this girl said. She was like, I'm feminist. I recognize the misogyny and all that kind of stuff, and I'm also married. But then she's like, the reality is that it doesn't go away just because you're a feminist or you're a strong woman. She said, actually, all it does, it gives you the tools to be able to recognize toxic things when you need to, so that when it's time for you to leave, you're able to bounce, you're able to leave. And that's the reality. There's no situation I wouldn't walk out of if it's a danger to me, if it's a danger to my well-being, if it's a danger to my peace, if it's a danger to anything that is me as a woman. And that's the reality. So I understand that, yes, it's how we've been socialized, how society has been from the beginning of time. However, though, that doesn't make it right. And that's what a lot of men who have these misogynistic ideas, that's what they fall back on. This is always how it's been. This is always how it's done. So why don't you send your mail via pigeons then? Since this is always how it's been done. Everything else in life, you're happy to develop and progress and get with the times. But when it comes to respecting women, when it comes to you seeing women as more than just objects for your masturbation, that's where you want to draw the line. So absolutely, yeah, that's the society we live in. We've all been socialized like that, but that doesn't mean that you can't progress and you can't be a better human being and you can't look to learn. That's how that sideman guy. People are women. You're saying you're fighting for women, okay, but the women are telling you, we don't want you fighting for us in this thing that you're fighting for. You're insisting that, nope, I will fight for you the way I want to fight for you. Why is that though? Because you believe that as a man you know better than women. So again, it's in the subtle things. So yes, we're all victims of this world. We're all victims of a world that we did not, we found ourselves in, and systems that we did not personally create. But that's no reason to not be able to just be better. But my theory is that a lot of men don't want to be better because they're insecure. Of course, you don't want to believe that women should have the right to work, and you don't want to believe that you should share household chores, you should share in childcare. Of course, you don't want to believe that, because what you've been told makes you a man is to be like, I'm a man. And so when you do that, then it makes you feel inferior. But the reality is that's not what makes you a man. If you have to go around shouting that I'm an alpha male, I'm a man, I'm the head of the household, then you're not. The joke is you're not. Your partner's probably just sick of the nonsense that you say, and she just lets you run with it. Knowing damn well she's the one that controls the house, controls the decisions, controls everything. And a lot of women say that.
But with all the stuff you're saying though, is this a dislike for women? Or is this just...
It is though, because...
Just, I don't know, something else where maybe a guy has an issue with this particular woman or women like this, or, you know what I'm saying? Because there's certain traits that certain women may exhibit that he just vehemently dislikes.
But traits like what though is what I'm saying, because when you have traits, when some men will see women with traits of independence and they dislike that, why do you dislike that? Okay,
let's
so this is what I'm saying is that as a man, you have been raised this way.
Yeah.
You've been socialized this way. Fair enough. You had no control over that, right? However, you have to start questioning why, when you're hearing a woman talk about how successful she is, when you're hearing a woman talk about she enjoys having sex, when you're hearing a woman talking about, I'm independent, I'm this, you have to start questioning why that irritates you so much. You have to start questioning why that makes you so angry and upset. Why are you angry at a woman who is sexually liberated, but your friends are hoes with all sorts of STIs like I can't even pronounce? Why are you fine with that?
But sometimes these guys, their friends are not like that. They're just thinking.
Their friends are like that, and they're like that too.
Well, it's not always the case.
Their friends are like that.
It just might be a case of thinking, you know what? I just don't subscribe to this way of life.
And that's
a lot of these men are religious, right? Or come from religious backgrounds. Raised up in the church, raised up in whatever it may be. And I'm maybe looking at these women and thinking, none of this stuff is productive long term.
That's fine. I've told you guys, I'm not going to be one of them women that's wearing them net-looking outfits to go and eat steak in a restaurant. That's not my flow of things. I'm not talking about people who you have the same energy for your male prostitute friends and your female prostitute friends. That's different. But I am saying that as a man, why are you okay with men who are sexually indisciplined? But when you hear about a woman having sex with more than one guy, that's where you turn your nose up at. These are the things I'm saying you need to question.
I think, do you know what it is? I think for the most part, it's because a lot of men were raised to believe women are better than us. in that you should be able to conduct yourself better than us. Some of us, we're just we're in a bad place, and we don't expect that of our women. You know what I'm saying?
And as a man, do you think that makes sense? That you think so low of yourself, and you are happy to think so low of yourself, your gender, your friends, your father, your brothers, all of that stuff. But then what you want to do then is that you then want to make a woman that you believe she should be living better than you, you want to make her life a living hell.
It's not that. It's more so me just saying, sometimes you might think to yourself, okay, cool. Let's just say boy and girl live in the same house.
Yeah.
You might think, okay, cool. This guy, he goes to school, he's got friends that maybe live a particular life, whatever it may be. But you're also thinking to yourself, women, the way they're raised, or at least you think if they come from, let's just say, lack of a better term, good homes and all that sort of stuff, and the way they carry themselves with respect, dignity, and things of that nature, they wouldn't do some of the things that men do. Because the thing is, even though men do certain things that women will say is deplorable, the men know it also. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like men are in denial about their actions sometimes. It's just that they think, okay, cool, this isn't necessarily good, but you fighting for the right to do something that I wish I wasn't doing. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think some men see that and think, you're better than us. Like, this ain't a place to be.
So do you think that if I was one of those women,
and
I'm living a lifestyle that a man does not agree with, because he thinks that I should be better than him, do you think that when he then says to me, oh, he's judging me and insulting me or whatever else he's doing, and making me feel bad about the life I'm living, do you think that I'm going to be flattered by that?
Absolutely
knowing
not.
damn well that you live the same life. My issue is that I want men to want better for themselves. And this is why I say you need to question things, because women are doing the self-work that they need to be doing. I'm not saying every woman in the world is perfect. Absolutely not. And I'm not saying every man in the world is bad. Absolutely not. But men need to do the work. You need to worry about yourself, worry about your community, worry about yourselves before you start thinking about women should be better than you, and therefore making them miserable for the better you think they should be. Because it's never, oh, women should be better than us. Let me get this woman and let me give her nice, wholesome advice. It's judgmental. It's insulting. It's doing all these things. I know this is just an example, but it's doing all those things. So the reason cannot be because you've been raised to believe women should be better than you. Because the joke is, in this one thing, you think women should be better than you, but how do you go around treating women as if they're better than you? You don't. And that there lies the problem. Because then when you think about even where this mindset of women should be better than us, and therefore that's why we pass judgment on you, how then in other ways do you show women that, you know what, we respect you? Women are only respected when it comes to things that they do for men. Give a woman a compliment. Ask a man to give a woman a compliment. More times than not, it will be about what it is that she does that makes his life better. It's nonsense. Men need to question the way they've been socialized.
But if you've been
ridiculous.
socialized...
And you just really go around saying, oh, I'm an alpha male, but you're sheep. You're sheep. Because you've been raised a certain way, and you have never thought to question how it is that you've been raised, how to question your reality. You just go along with it.
Remember, these things...
It's stupid.
These things have been embedded in society for millennia. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take time. This might be the most conscious or somewhat aware generation we've had. You know what I'm saying?
For women?
No, for both.
I don't think for men. Because if what you're saying to me, if you're saying to me that women have, this is how things has been, blah, 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 you also need to remember that the reason why women can now be here today, the reason why I'm here and I can sit here today and have this conversation and dare look a man in the face and have this conversation is because of the work that women who also came into a world where things had been the way they'd been from forever. Yeah. But they question it, they challenge that. That's why I respect the men who speak about mental health and the importance of mental health. That's why I respect the men who say, no, it's okay for my son to cry. No, it's okay because it is human emotions. They also have been raised in the same world where men who don't believe men should cry, who believe that you should be a bully and a tyrant in your household, who believe that your wife shouldn't be able to talk back to you, who believe all these other toxic things that make women's lives hell. There are men on the other side of that who don't subscribe to that. They were also born in the same world as you were, but they've chosen not to. They've chosen not to live those lives. Men have got to start thinking about how to make things better for them. They really do.
All right.
Because you sit there, you insult women all the time, and then you expect women to do the work for you. International Women's Day, you're acting confused that there's no noise about International Women's Day. Who are you expecting to make noise about International Women's Day? Women. The same women you spend all your time insulting. It's absolute foolishness.
Well,
Absolute
obviously
foolishness.
we're generalizing it. This is not everybody. This is just a
any man
minority.
that's listening to this,
Yes.
and you think I'm talking to because I'll be honest,
mind
Brent
anything
is
she
not
said.
batting an eyelid. Brent ain't batting because Brent is I'm talking to him. So if you are, let me even look directly in the camera. If you are a man and you are triggered by this and you're so angry and you're like, oh, but not all men, you're a twat. That's the bottom line of it.
No, but
Because whenever men are talking about bitches and hoes and whatever, I don't even look up. Not talking about me. I'm not gonna keep saying sorry. I'm not gonna keep saying some every single thing because some of you get your feelings hurt. If your little feelings are hurt, then there's something within your spirit that you need to start looking into as well. You need to start doing some reflection work.
I'm only saying that because we're obviously going from like talking about different types of men and different types of women so quickly and stuff like that, innit? So obviously some people may think, okay, cool, wait a minute. The guys who are maybe against, I don't know, sexual liberation for women, like, might not necessarily be guys who are like that too. There might be those who are in the church, for example.
And that's okay, I'm in the church too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Who might be just pointing the finger or just highlighting a particular way of life that they don't subscribe to. Not because they're trying to shame them, but because they're thinking, wait a minute, this is not something I would want for my wife, it's not something I want for my daughter.
And that's okay, but...
So it's not those guys necessarily. That's
absolutely, but again, that was just a quick example.
Exactly, yeah.
Fair, you leaned into the example. I just said it passing by. Furthermore, anyway, with that, there's a lot of things I don't subscribe to and I don't give it my attention. So when I gave up that example, I'm talking about the men who go out of their way to shame women for living a life that they live as well. That's who my beef is with, if I was to have beef about this. But that's just an example.
All right, well, we've got a second clip that I wanted to play because I think this basically speaks to, in a very clear way, I think. It holds up a mirror to the men in society about some of the truths that obviously you're talking about now. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when we talk about certain things in a particular way, we're not going to see the errors of our ways, innit? But sometimes when it's shown in another way that might be more effective or whatever it may be, or more relevant because of what's going on, you can somewhat see, wait a minute, you know what? Maybe I am a victim. Maybe I do see things in this wrong and harmful way, innit? So, Brent, there is a second clip, but I'll read his comments. Life of Budge says, personally, this felt like a 2-minute topic. I'll be surprised if there was much pushback.
So,
He's
Life of
agreeing,
Budge is basically telling you that there shouldn't really be any pushback.
You're not telling me that.
Yeah, he's speaking directly to you.
This guy.
But you agree with what Esther's saying, obviously.
Of course, I agree with what you're saying.
Well, this is
and this is why I want to
Life
show
of Budge
in
is
the
saying.
second clip.
This is what Life of Budge is saying.
But you know what it is, I realised though, because it's funny we spoke about somebody this morning. I'm not going to say, I'll tell you offline, obviously. I'll tell you guys offline. But that person decided to do a video addressing some Diddy things. And everyone's been running the commentary about Diddy and whatnot.
Sorry,
right?
hold up.
Yeah, no.
No, play it. I want men. Is this back on?
No.
Tell us before you put it back on. Yeah.
It's on.
It's on. Okay.
Oh.
But anyway, the point I was making anyway, regardless of my example or whatnot, is that I want men to like.
There's a fly in here, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a little thing. It's not really a fly. It's like them little ones, little transparent looking things. I want men to practice what they preach.
Yeah.
Because I get that Life of Budge is saying this should be a 2-minute conversation, there shouldn't be pushback, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that a lot of men actually don't practice what they preach. It's a cool thing now to say that you align with women and you align with feminism and you align with ideologies, but the way that you go around and you treat women in your actual life does not represent that. So I'm not moved. It's almost like the cookout thing. And it's like, it's a cookout, it's a gender version of the cookout thing, right? But this thing's annoying me. But there we go. Slap it like I slap misogyny. What's it called? But the reality is that, so I'm not impressed when I hear men speak. I'm not all the way impressed when I hear men speak up about women's issues, because unless I know that you live a life that's where you're practicing what you're preaching, because it's the cool thing. It's a cool thing to go on TikTok and whatever apps you want to use and start preaching about, oh my gosh, yes, we should absolutely respect women. It's crazy, knowing damn well women just haven't come forward about you yet. It's just not your time yet. So that was just a sidebar, by the way.
Yeah.
Just based off what Lab Bodge has said. It just
And
made
I think
remember
that sums
something.
up everything that we're talking about.
Play the second clip.
Hold up. Just seeing. Wait a minute.
So,
There's something wrong with this stupid Mac of mine, man.
yeah.
It keeps on muting stuff.
Damn.
You got to upgrade your memory and that.
It's
Brent.
sick of us.
No, I've already.
How many GBs
I've
you
got a new
mate?
Mac coming.
Oh, is it? Okay, man, like.
Yeah, it's I expect it out, so it's taking a while to flip and get together.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyway, everyone gets the point. God damn it, man. Let's do the work. God damn it. And yeah,
This is a short thingy.
Yeah, we got.
And not to beat the horse, but I just...
If someone puts a thumb in my bum and makes me
whoa.
Someone does what?
do Lamborghini doors without my consent, and I decide that I want 2 million instead of that person going to jail, that's my prerogative. If I decide that I'm going to come out in 10 years and face the music, that's my prerogative. Some of you were sent to country when you was younger to go and move food for brothers. You wanted to come back, you wasn't allowed back, yet you failed to understand how coercion works. You're asking, why didn't Cassie leave? Forgetting that we saw her try to leave in the hotel lobby and Diddy toe punted her. Do you know how mad you've got to be to toe punt someone with no shoes on? We've all hit our little toe on the side of the door and we felt that pain. Do you know how mad how mad you've got to be to toe punt someone with no shoes on? When Conor McGregor's case came out about 5-6 months ago, it was revealed that the lady went the civil route and not the criminal route. People were like, oh, she's money hungry. Why didn't she want him to go to jail? If somebody put a thumb in your bum and made you do Lamborghini doors, you brothers listening right now, and you could get 20 million, or that person could go to jail. You are picking that 20 million. So why do you act a fool when it comes to these women's cases? I really don't understand it. Some of you are really, really showing your... It's mad because I always say that a lot of brothers don't like women. And I say that because just because you sleep with women, because you're in a relationship with them, you have family with them, does not mean that you like them. There were slave masters who were raping women, having families with them, in relationships with them. That they didn't love them. All the stuff that we saw happen with Diddy and Cassie, it wasn't to do with him being a freak. It was humiliation. It was abuse. We're forgetting that he signed her to Bad Boy Records for a 10-album deal, only done 1 album for her, and held her under duress, financially abused her. Yet we're asking, why didn't she leave? Some of you are in workplaces right now. Your boss is calling you a prick, he's emotionally abusing you, you haven't left. Why is that? Why haven't you left? Like, we don't understand how coercion and Stockholm syndrome is. Like, we don't understand. I've got a lot of young men who follow me and they've asked me my opinion on this. And all I really like to do is talk about business. But it's just seeing the comments of why didn't she leave? Why did she wait 10 years? Why did she get the 20 million? If someone put thumb in your bum, you now, that's doing bad, man. I'm telling you now, you're going to collect that 20 million. Yet you're asking, why did Cassie? I remember being in school and there was a girl who gave shines. Shines is basically oral sex, that's what we used to call it back in the day. She gave shines to one brother. And that brother told her to give shines to 2 other guys in the group and said to her, if you didn't give them shines, I'm going to tell the whole school. And she gave them shines. She didn't have a gun to her head. And you could ask, why did she do it? Like, we don't understand why she did it. Like, we don't understand coercion. We've got a long way to go. Have a fantastic day.
All right, that's it, man. Just want to show it from a male perspective, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't listen to the women, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know that in itself as well as misogyny, by the way.
Which one?
Like a woman saying something and then not being listened to, and then a man goes and says the exact same thing. It's so interesting. It's happened to me on the show a few times, actually, where I say something word for word, bar for bar. Margs will say the same thing I said, word for word, bar for bar. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's the most profound thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, yes, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the species that... Excuse me, please, I'm not done. From the gender from the gender that believe they should be ruling the world, gender that are forward thinkers, that are leaders that should be submitted to. I get on my nerves, you know.
Firstly,
absolute foolishness.
Firstly, that never happened to me, right? Secondly, it's nothing to do with misogyny.
It is.
It's to do with who you relate to.
Do you know what it is?
And sometimes just relaying a message to people.
No, it's not. Do you know what it is?
What is it?
It's unconscious bias. It is. You rolling your eyes now is unconscious bias.
What?
It is. Because if Brent told you it was unconscious bias, you would listen that was unconscious bias.
I most definitely
you wouldn't have thought.
This is impossible.
Fair, actually. Maybe if Mark told you unconscious bias. Because you know men as well. Men pick a leader. They see a man, they think, oh, that's worth following. That's the person we should be following. And they just agree with that person. That's unconscious bias. If a woman says something, why? Do you know how many women have come out and talked about this thing? Said the same thing that Gabriel guy is saying. But Gabriel's saying is, oh my gosh. Men can then listen to a man now. Because, oh my gosh, thank God a man told us. Because why? But this is why I say you've got to question things. Why are you only able to receive a message coming from a man that looks like you, or a man that you feel is respect-worthy, than the woman who has been in that position before?
I don't think it's to do with that.
But what is this to do with then?
It's like, obviously this might not be the best example, right? But it's kind of like a fisherman basically saying, I don't know, he's fishing, and fish are upset that he's killing them. It may take another fisherman to say, yo, by the way, from my experience, you ain't gonna listen to fish. Because it's on the upper end of the
I'll give you a better example. That's a terrible example. The better example, is a female fisherman, right? Saying, oh, this is how you fish, this is what you should do, blah, 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 blah. I'm saying, okay. And then a male shepherd, he knows about sheep. Sheep, goats, cows, cattle, that's his realm. But then he then says, oh, actually, this is how you should fish. And then you listen to that guy.
But that doesn't happen.
It does. It just did. It just did.
How?
Oh my gosh.
Is he the shepherd?
He's a shepherd. He's sitting here. We women have been talking about Cassie and Diddy and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They've been being ignored. I promise there's a lot of men who have also heard so many women speak about these things, who have made the exact same points that he's made, who have said everything that he said, given the same reasons he's given, but they've only understood it because it's come from another man. It's not a thing where the easiest thing to do is to deny that it's misogyny. Because yes, looking dead in the face, looking dead in the eye of misogyny sounds like, oh my gosh, does that mean I'm misogynistic? But again, it goes back to how it is that you've been raised. You have been raised to believe that with women, even listening to this, someone's gonna be like, oh, see, there she goes being emotional. Emmanuel's talking so low and so calm, so he should be the one we listen to. It is misogyny. The fact that a woman will say something to you and a man will say it, but you only think you only think the opinion worth respect, because that's what it is. Regardless of whether you think that you're someone you can relate to or whatever, whether you feel like you can only relate to the man and not the woman, you still feel like that's the only person whose opinion is worth respecting. That's the only person whose words is worth respecting. This is why I say you've got to think about these things. It's not enough to just rule it out as, okay, that's not that, because as much as I'm saying it happens on TDA, it happens in companies. It happens with women who are on executive boards and they're not listened to. And then a man who is not on the same level at work that she's at, someone who is her staff, who she's a manager of, will say the exact same thing. And then what happens? Oh my gosh, Gary, that's such a good idea. Meanwhile, his manager just told him the same thing. Women talk about these things all the time. What Curtis said, as men, I believe there's some kind of level of misogyny with us all. The worst are the men that are unaware that it's misogyny. Absolutely. And even that tweet I was talking about earlier, the girl said that all men can be, and in some ways can be misogynistic. You've just got to find, the best way as a woman to live is to find a man who's teachable. Who, when you say, do you know what, actually, when you say this is what it really is, and blah, 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 blah. And I say, oh, do you know what, my bad, actually, I never actually thought about that. Because if we do this now with race, where I'm telling you that this is subtle misogyny, and we did it with race, and the white person's telling you, actually, no, it's not unconscious bias. How is that conversation going? It's the exact same thing. It's basically a white person arguing with you that they're not racist. This is what's happening right now in this gender thing. I always say black women are basically, no, it's not black women. So women are the black people of gender, not respected in any way, shape or form. You all need to think about it, honestly.
Well, I hear what you're saying. Obviously, you know what I mean? There's points there that you're saying that I agree with it.
Sorry, we'll just wait for Gabriel to say it again.
Huh?
We'll wait for Gabriel to do another video.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
You'll
just,
understand better.
Do you know what it is? It's because sometimes it's about delivery and it's about the examples being used. The point might be exactly the same, but sometimes examples are not there. And also sometimes it's about familiarity with a particular thing. So for example, if for example, I don't know, I'm on the farm. I'm trying to get cows or sheep into a particular pen, right? For example, and a child comes out, or someone who's like 15 years old is coming out to tell me, no, that's not how you do it. First thing would be not to believe that person. Till I find out that this 15-year-old was born and raised on the farm and has more experience. Sometimes we look at a particular thing and think, logically, you shouldn't know more than me, this particular thing. It might not be the best way to assess a situation, but sometimes you have to show and prove. So, for example, in that situation, the example you gave about the sheep, there's no way in hell a man who's a fisherman knows this guy is a shepherd, don't know nothing about fish, is telling him how to do it, and he's going to take that person's word over a woman who's been fishing her whole life.
That's so lovely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a privilege, and I love that you have that privilege of believing that.
Well, that's just I know that's not the case all the
but
time.
I'm telling you,
know what I'm saying?
it's hardly the case. Is what I'm trying to tell you, because I'm literally telling you, as the woman who experiences it, which is again is so funny because it's literally case in point. I'm literally telling you, as a woman who experiences it in different realms of my life, that I will say something that a man will say in the exact same way I've said it. The same message, same everything, but I will not be listened to, the man will.
Okay.
And we see it, the Cassie thing is the biggest thing. This man came online and y'all don't know what this man is like character-wise. But he comes online and he says, oh, this is, and I'm not knocking him for saying that, because that's something that should be said. However, he comes along and he says all these things, and then he's here's our hero. But women have been saying the same thing to you. It happens in the most trivial things and in the most serious things. There's a reason why women are not believed when it is that they're abuse victims. There's a reason why. It's not because a guy there's a reason why men are believed over women. It's very draining to be a woman, honestly. That's what I'm like. I come on here and I can't be bothered. Because I know what the environment is. Anyway, I'm sick of this conversation now. Mr. Ashley says, Emmanuel, sometimes people do not like the messenger. They do not even hear the message. They don't hear the message. That's what I'm trying to say to you. They don't hear the message because they don't like the messenger. And then that not liking the messenger is not because you think that person has bad character, whatever the case is, but it's because you've been raised to believe that women are not that intelligent. That's the reality. Like, how are we acting? I suppose I'm a woman, so I get it. Maybe I'm sure other women in the chat will understand what I'm saying, but hearing a man saying, "Oh no, it's not," men don't listen. Men don't not listen to you because you're just a woman. That's literally it. Just for the fact that you're a woman. Anyway, MJT says, I remember researching misogyny and realizing how many slight beliefs I had and still have that are misogynistic. MJT is a man, right? Okay, maybe men will start Googling it now. Honestly, living in a world with men is very draining. Living in a world with men, and there's a reason why statistics show that when women separate themselves from men, they live longer, more fulfilled lives, and they just blossom and they just glow. Like, there is a reason for these things. It's in a subtle thing. The man doesn't have to beat you, abuse you in that way for you not to be frustrated with your interactions with him. This interaction is frustrating for me. It's crazy. Anyway.
So I typed in ChatGPT, what are examples of misogyny that isn't obvious as men hating women, right? Because there's a little conversation going on in a chat with Black Rob, obviously. And it says, great question. Misogyny often wears a mask. It's not always overt hatred or violence. Sometimes it's subtle, socially accepted or disguised as tradition, protection, or preference. Here are some examples of misogyny that don't look like hating women, but still devalue, undermine, or control them. Good girl policing. You're not like other girls. She's wife material. Elevating some women by putting others down reinforces hierarchies rooted in male validation. Secondly, weaponized chivalry. I provide, so you should submit. I protect women. Sorry, man. I hope it is that this doesn't make you uncomfortable. I provide. It's because I'm looking at you next to the screen whilst I'm reading it, and you're making some facial movements.
I'm reading the chat.
Right. I provide, so you should submit. So you should submit. I protect women. That's why they need to know their place. Sounds caring, but positions women as weak and in need of male control. Number 3, selective respect. Only respecting women they are attracted to or related to. I respect my mum. I'd never hit a woman unless she disrespects me. A conditional form of decency, not actual respect. Number 4, speaking for women in feminist spaces. Dominating conversations about women's issues by centering their own voices or emotions. Not all men. It's still control, just dressed in allyship. You did that today, man. Number 5, expecting emotional labor. Expecting women to soothe, guide, or emotionally support them without reciprocity. Saying she's crazy for reacting to neglect or mistreatment. Disregards women's emotional needs as valid or important. Number 6, I don't like female bosses, doctors, politicians. Not hating women, but distrusting or undervaluing them in positions of authority. And beneath this is a belief that women are inherently less capable or credible. Number 7, there's a lot, man. Policing appearance or voice. She's too loud, too confident, too opinionated, or she needs to smile more. Punishes women for taking up space in ways men are celebrated for. Number 8, over-sexualizing or protecting dress. Shaming women for how they dress while consuming sexualized images of women online. You're better than that. Cover up. It's like you said that women
women should be better than men.
Yeah.
So men do it from of course.
This is rooted in control, not care. Rooted in control, not care. Number 9, praising silence as virtue. She's perfect. She never argues. Idealizing compliance is a form of suppression. Number 10, blaming women for men's actions. What did she expect wearing that? If she didn't want attention, she shouldn't have. Assigns responsibility for male behavior to female presence or expression. So these are forms of misogyny because they reduce women's humanity, even if they're not shouted, slapped, or screamed. Let me know if you like a version of this style for a visual or panel.
I don't think I told you guys. I think I was just talking to Chris
No,
about
thank you.
it.
Just check the chat.
Is that?
I just talking to chat.
Yeah. I think I was telling Chrissy about it, but I posted on my story and whatever. So, I said what I said, the podcast.
Yeah.
The girlies. FK was talking about an incident that happened to her over the weekend. So she's got a driver, right? It was a friend's wedding. They've been out, went to a friend's wedding or whatever. She's got a driver. Who knows what's like? She's got a driver, right? After the wedding, they're going somewhere else. She's actually driver, follow my friend's car that's in front. We're going here. The man decides he's taking her home. She's like, no, we're going out. Do you know what he says to her? You've been out enough today. You need to go home.
Mad.
He, truly, he drives her home. At some point, she's like, okay, do you know what, actually? You get out of my car. Just give my keys. I will drive myself where I'm going. He refuses to give her the keys to her own car. Decides to lock the car so she can't even get out of her car. She's then put in her group chat that's got men and women in there. And she's just like, you will never believe what it is that I'm currently dealing with my driver. The women know. So they're just like, here we go. The men are like, what do you mean? You're something you're not telling us about this. She's like, no. Like, I'm telling you exactly what just happened. The men are like, okay, we're coming because when we must be missing something. They get there. They haven't missed anything, but they can't comprehend the fact that, what do you mean you've told this man that you hired on your payroll that he should drive you somewhere and he's saying, no, you've been out enough today, you need to go home. Her brother has to call the driver. You know what the driver's doing? Apologizing to her brother. He's apologizing to her brother. Not only does he apologize to her brother, he apologizes to her male friends who are present at the scene. Ask me if he apologizes to the woman that he actually offended.
Did he apologize to the woman that he offended?
He did not. He apologized to everybody else. And then it started a thread on Twitter of women and what it is that they deal with in terms of misogynistic male employees. And truly, there's so many women had drivers as well who would say like horrible things and be like, oh no, you can't. One woman here, the driver told her she can't sit where she's sitting because that's typically where her husband sits. But it was her car and the driver that she and her husband both hire. But he said, no, you can't sit there. That's where Olga sits. That's where the man of the house sits. So you have to sit somewhere else. So many, many, many stories. Even Jola, like an old episode I listened to the other day, where she's talking about there's a guy in a workplace who she was basically his manager, where he couldn't tell her she couldn't tell him anything. She couldn't give him reports. She couldn't ask him to do it. Nothing. Absolutely not. Why? Because he just wouldn't listen to a woman. Even FK said because she owns a company, she owns like a recycling company in Nigeria, right? And she said when men come to the interview, some men will be like, oh, okay, like, so when's the boss getting here? And she's like, no, like, it's just me. And they can't fathom for the life of them that they're going to be in a place where they're going to have to be taking instructions from a woman. But in all these situations, when women say this, women don't bat an eyelid. All we do is we just express our frustration and share the situations that we've been in. But when you tell the men, because they're so oblivious to these things, they're like, no, there must be something else. But I tell you, as a matter of fact, there's nothing else. There's absolutely nothing else. Anyway, fighting for women's rights and whatnot is such a full-time unpaid job. It's very draining. Sometimes I wish I wasn't one of these. I wasn't this woke. But then I'm glad I am. In God willing, it'll protect other women. But yeah, it's fun and nice for men to sit there and be like, oh, because the word misogyny is around now and it's such a word that we hear all the time, it's so like they don't want to see themselves as that. And it's similar to what I was saying about the abuse thing, where a lot of men cannot just admit that what this man has done is indeed abusive. Because if you admit that, that means you've got to now look inwards and you will probably find that you have done things that's also abusive to women. And that's an ugly truth that you don't want to face. And so, yeah, it's easy for you to say, oh, no, this is not misogyny. And no, it's not because, men don't hate women. Absolutely, you've got to think about these things. A lot of men only find use for women when it comes to having sex with them, using them as sex objects, and them procreating children. And even the children, it's not because you genuinely want to be a father. It's so that you get bragging rights because you've been told that's part of what makes you a man. You get to say, oh my gosh, yes, I've got a family and I've got kids. Do you take care of your kids? Do you know your kids' allergies? Do you know how many fathers don't know their kids' allergies? You don't know what could kill your child. You don't know what your kids' favorite things are. There are men who don't even know what school their kids go to.
This is impossible.
Don't know.
Obviously, you're talking about those who are absent, right?
Let me say.
I'm talking about men who live in the home with their children too.
And they don't know.
It says it's impossible. Go on. Let me repeat it so he hears it from me.
There are men who don't know their kids' allergies.
There are men who don't know their kids' allergies, Emmanuel.
He didn't say nothing. When it was me, he said it's impossible. He's very quiet now. All of a sudden, get Stephen on the phone. Then it'll really, because Stephen's got kids. Because sometimes people say, I don't have kids. That might be why. What were you talking about here? I read forums. Like that's one of my things I enjoy doing. I enjoy reading about people's lives and like people's experiences and stuff. This is a real thing. I saw a thread the other day. I can't remember what platform I saw it on. And this man basically wanted to leave his wife. He told her, hey, I'm bored with life. I'm tired. I'm this and that and that. He wants to divorce her. But in the divorce, basically, he wants her to keep the children. They've got like 4 children or whatever. He wants her to keep the children and he's going to go along and he said she can never have the house. She can have the house. He wants her to have the house, have the children, and he's going to go off and he wants a divorce. And he's the one who brought this, by the way, to whatever forum I was reading on. And he said she didn't fight him about it. She was like, all right, cool. You want a divorce? That's fine. We'll get a divorce. This woman, like a thief in a thief in the night, which I'm so proud of, decided that what she was going to do was she was going to go back home. So she up and left and went back home. And she took the kids' passports as well. Took his passport. She left him with the kids. Do you know what his response was? How could she be so selfish? How could she be so selfish to leave him with the kids? How could she be so selfish to break up their family? She doesn't even care about the well-being of the kids. She doesn't even care about this, doesn't care about that. How could she do such a thing? Now he's stuck here having to be a single parent and having to navigate these children. And also now he's realized his children are very needy children. Those children have always been needy. It's always been a lot of work. It's always been a lot of work and effort to work and take care of the children. He was going to break up the family when he was going to leave, but he did not see that as a problem when he was going to do it. She played the game quicker and played chess, not chess. What was it? You play checkers, not chess. She played checkers, not chess. All of a sudden now, she's the most selfish person. She's the most this. Even when we talk about when women abandon their children, and people find the children abandoned, and the things that people call these women, how could they do such a thing? They're animals. They're this. They're that. They're this. They're all those things with no consideration for the fact that this woman have just given birth. They might be going through postpartum depression or whatever. No consideration for any of that. It's just how can a mother do such a thing? But we've got hella abandoned fathers. Hella fathers that don't even bat an eyelid about where their children are. There's never any judgment that way. You people are not serious about doing any work, man. Like, don't be silly. Mr. Ashley says, unpopular opinion to reinforce Esther's point is the men who say you cannot be friends with a woman. This is a wild statement. Seriously. Absolutely. What do you mean that you are a human being, a man in a world filled with women and men, and you say that you cannot be friends with women? Why? Why can't you be friends with women? Why? Because you only see women as objects for sex. That's why.
Stacey shared a clip with an example of your point.
Your daughter's teacher.
Mrs. Jones.
Nope.
Mrs. Moore. It's not Moore?
Nope. That was my elementary school teacher.
Well,
Can you name their teachers?
Of course I cannot.
What are your daughter's birthday?
he said, I was like,
What kind of question is that?
Why do you do this to me?
he doesn't know
What
their
about
kids'
I
birthdays.
give up.
Any guesses?
Oh yeah, yesterday.
Her birthday was yesterday.
Horrible.
That was just he just forgot because
Her
obviously they're
birthday
out
was
celebrating
yesterday.
together.
You forgot it.
Yes.
Can you name the best friend of each of your daughters?
Mari Carmen Rojas, Jimena Lopez, Adamari Lopez, Cristina Cornejo,
Good. Can you give us the name of their doctor?
Fadi Torres,
Good. Can you give us the name of their dentist?
Games Gentleman.
What are your
Look, he's
daughter's
clueless. Look at his
birthdays?
face.
Yes, May 28,
Look at his face.
2009, August 8, 2024, 2006.
Jose. Do I play
This is a real thing. This is a real life thing. Like, the average woman probably deals with this. This is a real life thing. That's how men will be watching their kids and talking about, oh, he's looking after the kids today. What? He's babysitting. What are you talking about? That's his offspring. That's his child. That's what he should be doing. He's a father. That's what he should be doing. But it becomes a thing of, oh my gosh, we're going to congratulate him. Y'all ain't ready to do the work. Y'all ain't ready to do the work. Has anyone in the chat today said, what about have they brought up the other side of argument or something?
As in,
You know when I say that women are going
about
through things, they always say men are going through things too. Has anyone brought up anything
Black
like
Rob
man, what is he
and
saying?
Fanan?
What's Finan saying? Finan's always got something to say.
Fernand didn't do that, Brent.
What?
Did he?
He said something,
But Fernand was on women's side, man.
No, he didn't. He said something that I wanted to respond to. What did he say? Crap. He asked a question. Oh, yeah. He said I should be real. That if a man was... I should be real. That if I would listen to a woman more than I would listen to a man. On women's issues, absolutely. The point I'm making is that men listen to men more than they listen to women on women's issues. Maybe 5 times more we're men. Maybe they listen. But they probably call them simps, though. Because those kind of men are called simps. The men that want to love their families and are very present fathers. Someone like Russell Wilson and the everyday man who loves his children, and someone like Ramsey. They call those men simps because they love their child. They know what age their children are. They know where their children go to school. They actually care about the well-being of the children. Those men are simps. Those are not the men that the cool guys want to listen to. You guys are not serious, man. Very unserious. But yeah, to answer Finan, I would, if a man is telling me about what a man is dealing with, I will listen to. I'm more likely to listen to a man over a woman. Thank you, Devil's Advocate. Devil has never needed assistance, you know. He just gets hella volunteers, just helping him along. Coco says, dead silence. The men in the studio have nothing to say.
That's because we agree.
There you
Retreat.
go. You know what I'm saying?
You can't say you agree over there.
We agree.
You can't agree.
Why?
You cannot agree.
Why?
Because when Jose forgot his children's names, he said, oh, but it was yesterday. He probably just forgot because it was yesterday.
I'm saying he obviously knows.
You have an unnatural
He just
allegiance to
forgot.
losers. You do. You have an unnatural allegiance to losers. You really do.
Do you know what it is?
You always want to give the benefit of the
I
doubt
have
to
to,
people that
man.
have never asked you to give the benefit of the doubt.
No, we're all
They
human
don't
beings.
want you to give. Jose didn't know his child's birthday was yesterday.
He's got a lot on his mind.
A lot of what? It's not the kids. Not anything to do with the kids'
They're
well-being.
trying to get rid of him. Trump's controlling the borders. Jose trying to stay in work. He was there at his daughter's birthday. After that, he had to go and do overtime.
If they got Jose, if a random person picked up Jose and they said, Jose, right now, let's assume he's a legal immigrant. They say right now can make you legal. All you have to do, because you said he's worrying about so much.
Yes.
So he's worrying about protecting the family and making sure the family don't go back to Mexico, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's tough.
Oh, no, you wait there. Stay there. If they said to Jose right now, I will make you and all your family legal, just give me their passport details.
Yeah.
Passport details is their full names and their birthdays. Jose can only save himself.
That's a loaded question, man.
Jose, how is that loaded?
You know they didn't come there with passports.
Jose is only... They're about to be given one. Jose could not tell you his children's date of birth.
Oh, man.
Do you know how many when you're aware of and conscious of these things, your algorithm just continuously feeds you these things, and unfortunately, I find it depressing sometimes. I honestly find it depressing. Like on whatever app I use, I always just come across this sort of reality that unfortunately women are living. I don't even want to get into the number of women what their experiences are during labor. The men who they are in labor and they're over there and they are just trying to play PlayStation. The men who bring their PlayStation from home to plug in because we don't know how, this is what we're doing here. The number of female nurses that have come into the hospital and the woman is in labor or just giving birth and they've had to call security to get the man out of there because he's trying to sleep with her, which is great, by the way. With that out there, the number of men who are just like, some woman said that her husband asked her if she can let him sleep on the bed because he's been sleeping on the sofa for a day in the hospital, by the way, but she just gave birth. Can she get up? Can they do swapsies? Because he would like to sleep on the bed for tonight. So clearly she's being selfish. You guys, listen, men are not ready to have these conversations. That's honest. The average man is not ready to have the conversations. And that's why as a woman, you got to choose peace and you got to know the kind of men that you want to have the conversations with. I don't have time. I only do it because I'm on TDA. But if I was not on TDA, I would not be sitting here. I would not be sitting anywhere else in my life having these conversations, going back and forth with men about why it is that you're a piece of shit. I'm not going to be doing that. And why you're insecure and why women are a threat to you. I just wouldn't be doing it. And whoever that is on Discord, I don't think I'm in the mood to do it now either. So... all the best. You can speak to Emmanuel. He's always ready to let you know what the devil's notes are on these topics.
It might be Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Eddie been championing your views, man.
Eddie's 1 in a million guy. 1 in 1,000. This TDA community, ciao.
Big up Eddie and that.
When he's on Discord.
Nobody.
Good, let's wrap up, man.
Yeah.
Ed is just sharing the link that Lauren has put in events promotion, which is I think another I Love Life and
okay.
Rise
Kofi
Up.
said this isn't. Kofi said this isn't UK. Who else said something stupid? Kofi also said this is fake Reddit story. Of course, it's easier to believe that than for you to look inwards and have to do the work that you need to do. Absolutely. Prod by Logical, never seen you, but I think you take Logical out of your name. Says, need Mark's opinion on this. Real feminist. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chimamanda looks at someone like Mark and is just so proud at his feminism work. Who else is that? Fighter Spirit Media. That name sounds about right. Says Reddit takes, of course. Absolutely. Who else is something silly? Beijing said Loons ain't no simp. What's Loons done?
I don't know.
I don't know. I've listened to.
I think Loon stands by I can't be friends with a woman. I think that's the reference.
I have my theory on that too. I expressed it. What else is there? DCF Mook said the truth though, it's a fight not worth fighting. Sometimes. Finan says, I don't disagree with the general point, but people connect with people and listen more to those people. Pretending is different is silly. Well, you're very silly, and I love your takes as silly. What else is there? Yeah, can't find much.
Well,
Facts Arsenal says, no, we call men that pander to women simps. Those men you mentioned are family men. Side man is someone people call a simp or a sump, he said. No, I see men who love their families, who have these conversations that I'm having on their podcast. Y'all ain't getting their podcast going viral. The way you do podcasts are telling you to be run through bitches. Y'all ain't, their podcast ain't going as viral as that.
Let's end on a good note, because there are many people who are supporting.
Please find a good note. I would love to find the good note.
No, a lot of people are saying, you know what I mean, life above is there, you know what I'm saying? He's always agreeing with you as well. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need people to, that's not word like that. I don't want anyone agreeing with me. No, you're not agreeing with me. You're able to see what the reality of life looks like.
What's wrong with saying he agrees with you? Because he agrees with your take.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
There was a few other people as well that were saying that as well. You know what I mean? So I think overall, I think everyone does see that obviously there are, you know what I mean? There's loads of men obviously that could do better. You know, all of us could do better as a people, to be fair anyway. But, you know.
I want to end on a realistic note. I get that you want to end on a positive note. That's good for you. I want to end on a realistic note. Someone actually just tweeted me and they said, what Martin Royalty was saying about men ignoring women saying something and needing a man to say it is real facts. Sad. At the day after TMB. And then she wasn't believed on the actual show. LOL, crazy. Literally happened in real time. I just don't have the time to point it out every single time it happens, where I literally say something and another man in the room says it and it's like, oh my gosh, yes, that's the most profound thing I've ever heard. And I'm just like, But anyway, there's another man that I look to as the most intelligent of the bunch. And I always thank God that I have men in my life that actually have sense.
Sensational.
And that's such a blessing. Because I can't imagine living a life where like the men whose ideologies I detest, that was my norm constantly. I couldn't imagine a life like that. And I feel sad because that's some women's realities. Like they don't have men that actually have sense. Scary. Very, very scary. And I wish you guys love and light because I don't know how y'all do it. Anyway, we can end there. That's a more realistic note to end on.
Let's
get into more headlines.
All right, all the headlines, please, because you all have 10 minutes left.
Yes, indeed. All right, people. So, US President Donald Trump says Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiating towards a ceasefire and an end to the war after a 2-hour phone call with Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. Trump, who described the conversation as having gone very well, also said conditions for peace would need to be negotiated between the two parties. Putin said he was ready to work with Ukraine on a memorandum on a possible future peace agreement, but did not address demands from the US and European countries for an unconditional 30-day ceasefire. Trump also spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who said this is a defining moment and urged the US not to distance itself from talks. Next headline, and the UK government has summoned Iran's ambassador in response to 3 Iranian nationals being charged under the National Security Act. The 3 men were charged with spying offences at Westminster Magistrates Court over the weekend. Mustafa Sefand, 39, Farhad Javadi Manish, 44, and Shapor Khani Nouri, who's 55, are allegedly to have targeted journalists working for Iran International, which is an independent media organisation based in London. Next headline, and French plans to build a maximum security prison wing for drug traffickers and Islamic militants near a former penal colony in French Guyana have sparked an outcry amongst residents and local officials. French Justice Minister Gerald Darmanin announced plans to build a high security wing during an official visit to French Guyana on Saturday. He said in a Facebook post that 15 of the wing's 60 spaces will be reserved for Islamic militants. The announcement angered many across French Guyana and overseas French department located in South Africa. It was once an infamous colony known for holding French political prisoners, including Captain Alfred Dreyfus, who was accused of being a spy. Jean-Pierre Vieira, who's the acting president of French Guyana's territorial collective, an assembly of 51 lawmakers that oversee local government affairs, said that they were taken aback by the announcement since the plan to build a high security wing was never discussed with them ahead of time. Next headline, and a federal judge on Monday blocked efforts by the Trump administration and its so-called DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, to dismantle the U.S. Institute of Peace, at least temporarily. DOGE, initially overseen by billionaire Donald Trump supporter Elon Musk, took over the congressionally created and funded think tank in March and had fired most employees by a late-night email after the US president targeted the institute and 3 other agencies with an executive order. The takeover prompted a couple of lawsuits against DOGE and the Trump administration, including from fired employees trying to impede the institute's dismantling. The White House claimed that the think tank was in non-compliance with Trump's executive order, whose purported aim was to shrink the federal government's size, and DOGE staff forcefully entered the think tank's building after cancelling its contract for private security. Next headline, trigger warning on this one, people. Trigger warning. Big trigger warning. A fire chief took his own life because he couldn't take it anymore after months of alleged harassment and questions of his qualifications. This is what our inquest has heard. Wayne Brown, who's the chief fire officer, at West Midlands Fire Service, was found dead at his flat in Birmingham by police on the morning of 24th of January last year. Mr. Brown had been under scrutiny from colleagues over claims that he lied on his CV. His partner, Nicola White, told the first day of the inquest on Monday that attention from the national press was the final straw. Birmingham Coroner's Court heard that in days before his death, an internal investigation had been launched at WMFS, which is the West Midlands Fire Service, into a claim that Mr. Brown had lied about having an MBA, a Masters of Business Administration, which is a requirement for the chief fire officers. Ms. White said her partner was clearly low about the ongoing investigation, but when a national news outlet ran the story about him, he just couldn't take it anymore. I said, this is her speaking, I said, Wayne, you need to speak to somebody, but he didn't like to show his weaknesses. Deputy Fire Chief Joanne Bocock said in a statement that she recognized Mr. Brown was under pressure, but that she never considered he would take his own life, and added that he appeared to be coping well. But when speaking to him on the 18th of January, he told her that he had had the worst 2 weeks of his life and feared that he would be suspended. And that's it for the headlines. So we can go into reaction.
Hold up. Oh, wow.
What happened?
I think I could actually go live. Look at this. Oh, cool. Hold up. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah. Where's that?
This is on Discord, right?
Mm.
Oh, with video?
Yeah, I could go
Oh, that's
live like
lit.
this on Discord at the same time as I'm doing it on YouTube. So when we're talking to people on Discord, they can see us at the same time. So you can flip them the bird and they could see without the 10-second delay.
Oh, yeah, that makes
This
sense.
is cool. That means I can do... Ooh, I can
But then
do
there'll always be a delay, though,
special-
because at the point they call on Discord, they're watching on YouTube. Unless
but
they start watching on... Do you get what I mean?
Yes. No, I don't. They should stop watching on YouTube and start watching on Discord whilst they're talking, because that's when it is that they can. There's no delay whatsoever. But this means I can put this behind something and do it for different things.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. I'm just percolating whilst it.
That's just for the people in the Discord, by the way.
That's just for people in the
just so it's
Discord.
clear, innit?
Yeah, man. Good morning, Black Rob. Can you see the video? Hello? Hello?
He said he can.
But now the sounds like there's a delay. Anyway, I'll turn this off. His thing's going all weird. Hello, Eddie? Eddie?
Hey guys.
Hey, Black Rob, can you see the video?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, see? So it was him. All right, fantastic. What are your thoughts? What do you want to say?
No, I just want to see the video. I've got nothing to say.
Okay, cool. Well,
I want to stay friends with Esther. Esther, good points all around.
You're welcome. Bye.
I'm not being sarcastic.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. What
So
about Eddie?
confirmed. I think it's like I put him down to 90% volume. That's why he's probably talking right now.
Oh,
Hello,
no,
Eddie.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I did. I put it down to 19. How are you? Can you see the video?
Yes.
It's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying things twice. All right. Have a nice day, Eddie.
You two great points, Esther. Nice job.
How about Emmanuel?
Thanks, Eddie.
Pleasure.
No. How about Emmanuel?
Well, Manuel, he said,
That's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
understand about
It's all right.
misogyny.
It's all right. It's not coming from the heart. It's not coming from the heart. But it's all right. Thank you very much, Eddie. Bye.
My pleasure. Bye.
All right, then. There needs to be a study.
This guy.
Because he really likes women.
Yeah, as he should, man.
Like,
You know what I mean?
he doesn't see men at all. I don't think he's ever said my name.
That's because he stays ahead of the sexuals. You know what I mean? Focus on the right things. Pick up Eddie, man.
The opposite of a misogynist, right?
Hey,
All right, then. Let's... Oh,
whap him.
I think Jillian just wants to see the video. Jillian, just can you see the video?
I'm gonna see y'all on Thursday.
You know what
Goodbye.
I mean? Let's wrap this up, man.
Can you see... Oh, never mind.
Everyone can see it. One person can see it, they can all see it, man.
Right.
No, I don't know why she put her hand up to come onto the stage. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. Anywho, time for the wrap up.
All right, people, man. It's been a good show. Today, we spoke about the UK-EU deal, which apparently, according to Keir Starmer, moves us on from the Brexit rows. We also heard about the peers, the House of Lords, demanding more protection from AI for creatives and how they're still discussing that. So Keir Starmer also refuses to say that there's a genocide going on in Gaza, man. I don't think he's ever going to say it, but we know why. You know what I mean? Like, they got Gary out of it. Russia and Ukraine to immediately start ceasefire talks is what Trump is saying. He had a 2-hour phone call with Putin. Hopefully that goes ahead. The Iranian ambassador summoned to Foreign Office after 3 men were charged under National Security Act. So yeah, they need to talk about these 3 men, man, who allegedly have targeted journalists who are working for Iran International. Also, this is crazy, man, but the French have revealed that they got plans to build a maximum security prison wing for drug traffickers and Islamic militants in French Guyana, right? And I expect nothing less of them, man. A judge has blocked Trump's officials' efforts to dismantle U.S. Institute of Peace. We spoke about the fire chief who sadly took his own life, man, after harassment, man. They didn't believe what he wrote in his CV. They kept pressurizing the man, and now he just thought, you know what? What's the point? And he took his own life. And today's topic of the day, of course, we spoke about some men, the straight men, who don't like women. Is this true or false? Evidently, it's true, man. You know what I'm saying? And we all need to do better. And I think some of the most important things that we spoke about today is African Chica's got an event on Father's Day in Shoreditch, Box Park. And also our young sister, who is now the black mayor of Barking and Dagenham.
Come on.
29 years old.
See if she can come on.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to address her properly. Mayor Princess Bright. And if I'm not mistaken, she's a Yoruba woman. You know what I'm saying? All around the board, Yoruba people doing what Yoruba people do best. Excelling. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Hope everyone has a good day. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to leave the link to the event at the Ned on the 31st, which is Saturday, from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Come and shake a leg with us. We're back on after a little hiatus. But yeah, people need to drink, dance, and be merry again. So I'll put the link in the comment first comment of the video and sign up. I think there are only maybe 15 to 30 places left.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's filling up fast, man. But anyway, remember we're gonna be celebrating one of our co-founders' birthdays, Danielle Doody. So she's gonna be dressed to kill, looking beautiful, surrounded by joyous people.
This is it.
The music's gonna be good. We've got some good DJs coming through, and you'll see man dancing.
Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? See ya.
Thank you very much. Later.
Yeah, man. Right. And there was something else.
All right, I'll put it in the Discord. I will put the link in the Discord.
Yes.
If the link is the same link it's always been though, man.
Yeah, man. Also on the 31st as well. Remember, guys, we got the event in the evening, but prior to that, ACLT is doing amazing work.
I'm gonna be there.
Brent's gonna be there. Giving blood, donating his life force to save another life. You know what I'm saying, in our community, man. So please, if you can, join, register, and get yourselves down there, man. It's going to be in Brixton, 31st of May.
The link is in the description.
The link, thank you. The link is in the description. It's always in the description. In the YouTube video, Brent. Right?
Yes, YouTube and Spotify.
There you go. No excuses, people, man. Please, let's support ourselves, man, because all we got is ourselves.
And make sure that you sign up to I Love Live, the event that the beautiful Lauren Louise puts on, and the link is being shared by Ed in the Discord and also in this chat box. Yes. I shall also put that particular link on our first comment for YouTube.
There you go. Loads of stuff going on, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things going on. So people, let's support, man. You know what I'm saying? It's positive black energy around here. You know what I'm saying? I know some people that might have scared you, especially if you're from the Christian church. When you hear black energy, you think evil. But please, uncondition your minds, man. Just like we got to uncondition our minds with the misogyny and whatnot. Anyway, have a blessed day, people.
Another shot at Christianity before you leave. That is horrible, nasty work.
How is that a shot at Christianity, man?